Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we are clearly looking at the demise of Adrien Broner. We've been looking at the demise of Adrien Broner for many years now, but it took a shocking turn of events today when he had to be, escorted off of the show of Cameron and Mace. It is what it is because his antics just got a little bit out of control. We all know that Adrian Broner, things have not been too kind to him ever since, he took a couple of losses. Pardon me, Adrian, the problem Broner, 35, 5-1 with 24 wins by the way of knockout. But we're not here to discuss boxing. Um, it's unfortunate that they really couldn't get into nothing because it seemed like he was so caught up with Stat Baby. Anybody that don't know who Stat Baby is, that's Cameron and Mace's version of Molly Karam, what Joy Taylor. Um, she we all know she plays a major role. Not only does she play a major role, but they gave her own show. If I'm not mistaken, it's called Give Me the Stat, where basically she invites she has her own guests and her own situation. So they are definitely building and elevating her to be, one of the upper echelons in this sports genre. And mind you, she went to school for this stuff and everything too. So if you look into her history, it's very extensive. But yeah, Adrian Broner was completely out of line. I don't know what that was all about. He clearly was a little inebriated. Um, but Cameron, I mean, he had no other option but to escort him off the show. It was getting too reckless, and it got to the point where it was going to go to the next level. Adrian Broner clearly was taking it to another level. It was beyond. See, you talking about you mesmerized. You just, I mean, a lot could have just said that. You could have said that you look better in person, or the beautiful, Stat Baby. There's a lot of things he could have said, and then moved on. I just felt like they gave him a lot of rope too, to say the compliments, to say all the things he was doing, but it was getting beyond compliments, and it was getting to the point where it was harassment. And that's what you seen. Y'all let me know when y'all seen the clips. What did y'all think? Um, I'm pretty sure Cam is going to be looked at very, celebratory after this. And if I'm not mistaken, you heard what he said, that Stat Baby's boyfriend happened to be there. And if I'm not mistaken, the boyfriend might be either Cam's brother or a very close friend. So this is not, and it has to be for her to be in that position. She had to be very close to them, so they do value her like family, and they have to stick up for her. And you see, that's what Cameron did. They're probably gonna feel up is their initiative, and this Cam show Mace's. At the end of the day, he's a good running mate. But it's Cam's show. Cam put it up, and then Mace invested. Into it. We all know the story of all of this stuff. And if anybody knows, even from Cam's first, one of his first albums, SDE, we all know that the man had aspirations, pardon me, of getting into the sports genre, so we all know what's going on. So it's crazy to see what Adrian Broner has scooped to. A guy who, mind you, he's a boxer. We coming off one of the best boxing weekends, and Lord knows when. The sport is at an all-time high. They sold out with Allegiant Stadium. So you see boxing just at the forefront. Broner stamped by Floyd Money Mayweather. Um, this was his opportunity to, okay, maybe it's not in your best interest, because we all know your ship has sailed, but at some point be an advocate for the sport of boxing. You are one of the representatives, people call you on the show for boxing representation. I'm pretty sure that's why Cameron had him on the show. It was no accident or coincidence that we coming off the Canelo fight against Terrence Crawford, and then you got Broner there, early the week, the top of the week. It's no accident. It all goes hand in hand. So Adrien Broner, I gotta call him out. I gotta call the flag on the play. The sport of boxing is big, but it could be bigger. You heard what Canelo said. Yeah, it could be bigger, but it is big. We're not gonna argue that. But we do know that boxing is not covered like it should be. Boxing is not. If you go on ESPN, all you hear about is Tom Brady. The Cowboys, LeBron James, and that's just about it. So it's tough. What's going on. You seeing now it's just crazy. They're promoting WWE over boxing. So you have to start to think, hey man, I might need to, and things like this don't help. Things like this does not help. It doesn't, because a lot of people now are discuss. You are a representative of boxing. You take away from the sport with antics like this. It does. This is boxer Adrien Broner. They attach Floyd Mayweather to the situation. They attach everybody that's associated with you to this, idiotic, careless situation that he did. So it's definitely something to highlight. And here at Flight Sports, we're gonna talk about it. It is what it is. You know, um, he's got to get it together. Because this was not a good look. And you see Cam pulled out the purse. When he pulled out the man purse where he had all the money. I don't even know how much he paid him. It looked like he pulled out, anybody that knows money. It looked like that was 10,000 that he had in his hand. Who knows how much he had to pay Adrien Broner? Was it 3 or 5? It sure wasn't the whole 10 racks. So it's interesting, to see what happened. But he definitely was paid in cash. We all know Cam pays out a lot with cash. We all know the infamous story, where basically he tried to, well, he wanted to sign Mark Jackson. He came to Mark Jackson with, if I'm not mistaken, 250,000. So I mean, all of this stuff is special. We all know Mark Jackson is dealing with a lot of different, blackballing situations. So it's unfortunate that his show and everything like that is not taking off the way it should be. Because I know that they paid a lot of good money for the Mark Jackson show. But it is what it is at the end of the day. Cam had to throw Adrien Broner off the show, and everybody's talking about it. It's Flight Sports TV. Make sure you hit the like button if you're new. Most definitely hit the subscribe button. Peace and love.